Mutant Ninja Turtle fans, welcome back to my channel. On today's episode, I will be taking a look at the new NECA toys, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Splinter and Baxter. This is a set that a lot of collectors have been looking forward to for a very long time. For the most part, it does finally give us all of the main characters in the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cartoon. And this is one that dropped very unexpectedly as well. Much like that android body crane figure that just recently released, this guy just showed up out of the blue. And I am extremely excited to be taking a look at it. For the package, as you all always know, they have the open window. You can see all of the figures, all of the toys, all of that stuff. It is right there. Then you have cartoon images of Splinter and Baxter Stockman as a fly. Maybe one day we will get him as regular human. That will be fun to see. But for most part, this is how he looked in the show. He was only as human in the first day of season or so. So, who knows? But I would like to get it. Come on to the side. You got a nice up-close image of Splinter the Rat. And then you have Baxter the Fly right there. Come around to the back of the package. Very nice image of Baxter and Splinter right there. You can see you have Zarax and Zork. The rock people, I forgot their names. It's not coming to me right now. And then the Triceraton and Little Robot Men. Then you have a bio that is basically the same that we've gotten on all of the main characters, like the Turtles. April, I think, was same. It just talks about the history of sorts. But for packaging on these guys, that is about it. So without further ado, let us get these guys out here and see how cool they actually are. Okay, so here we have Splinter and Baxter open up and out of their packaging. And no, I'm not going to do the full-on Russian accent the entire time. That was just something to have fun with. Plus, it's a bad impression. But this set is really very, very nice. There's a couple issues that I do have with it, both in terms of QC stuff and then even design stuff. But one thing that can be said is that NECA is really good about giving us amazing accessories. And this set is no exception to that at all. These guys come with a ton. Starting off first with Splinter. As you see, he does have a couple just kind of open hands, but he also has one that's a little bit more clinched. It's probably good for holding his sword. He's got a little two-finger pointing sort of hand. I don't know what that's all about. You got a one finger point, like, no, Leonardo, that's not how you do it. Get another hand that, well, you get a right, or yeah, that's a right hand, or left hand, I'm sorry, that it's, again, clenched. And then this is a, I don't know, call me hand. I don't know what that is. So you do get some nice hand accessories. He comes with a sword, which is really nice, and then this would go really well in this hand that you can just kind of wedge that in there. Does always feel like it's gonna like ruin the plastic when you kind of put it in there, or not the plastic, just the paint. It's their paint's always kind of an issue, but you do have that, and you can even have a flame. Now, a lot of accessories I know and I recognize. I don't remember this, but I'm sure somebody will be able to tell me. But, I mean, I still like that. I think that's really cool. I think that's the first kind of Ninja Turtle effect piece that we've gotten from the folks over at NECA. Yeah, I said it. So you do have that. Really nice sword, though. Real nice paint on here as well. Again, it's a thick paint. All of the NECA figures have always been like that. And like I said, when you put it in the hand, it just kind of feels like you're going to rub off on it, which kind of bums me out. He does come with a little rat. Now, again, I don't know. Some of these accessories I'm a little bit iffy about, but it kind of looks like he's trying to hold something and take a bite out of a piece of pizza or something, or cheese. I don't even know. I mean, like, his mouth is open, and then, like, you can see his hands are sculpted in a way where totally looks like he's about to eat something. So, not exactly sure, but it's nice to get a little rat dude. We may get this again with the upcoming Rat King release. He comes with his iconic staff. He's always walking around using this. Again, great paint detail and sculpt work on there. Nice brown and black, everything kind of added together, which really does come together to make a great looking accessory that is, again, iconic for this character. You got to have that. Couple other accessories that I think are really cool is he does come with this art book. It is permanently open, but you can see that, well, if I keep it in kind of the light, it's got the names Leonardo, Donatello, Michelangelo, Raphael. I don't know why Raphael looks like Meg from Family Guy, but I mean, it is what it is. But I like that because that, you know, plays into the whole where did he come up with the names for the turtles. So you do get a book like that. You also get another book that has some nice sculpting and detail where it's got holes in the cover and even the back section. Really very nice. You can't open it or anything. But it's a nice just book to have him hold because he's wise. So, you know, he would have books like that. That's cool. He also does get a scroll. Now, I'm curious if this actually says anything. I don't know if I'm holding it upside down, but I'd be really curious to know if that says anything. If anybody actually takes the time to translate that, let me know if that says anything. I'll hold it like this so that you can pause it, and I'll even put it like this, because like I said, I don't know if it's upside down or not. I feel like this is the right way. But there you go. So he does have more like old wise man stuff. This is another accessory I don't remember entirely, but he has a little rope chain with a medallion on there that has an S, maybe for Splinter. Like I said, some accessories are a little bit even deep for me to kind of remember. So there is that. He also does, I guess you could kind of say that this is one of his accessories as well. So moving this off, well, yeah, obviously it would be his accessory as well. Now this is interesting. This is actually like a foam piece. Well, it's not really foam, but I mean, it's not paper. There's thickness to it, and like I said, it feels like it's foam. This came in a completely separate, I mean, if you just do like, I mean, like this was cloth. This was a cloth piece. This is, like I said, there's a sponginess to this that makes me think it's like a foam. That's really cool because this is the kind of stuff that would be on the floor of the sewer layer. And obviously you could have Splinter sitting there meditating, doing work, all that kind of stuff. Maybe have, let's bring in some figures here for comparison. Maybe have Leonardo and have Master Splinter there practicing their the ninjutsu and stuff. But for a size comparison, here you go. Which I like it. I think it works. I don't know why there's a little schmutz on there. I think that's a good size for him. I feel like maybe he's a little bit too big, but he's smaller than the turtle, so that works for me. I'm okay with that. Bringing in his arch nemesis Orokusaki. Here he is next to a kind of human figure, so you can kind of see how that scales. And again, I think that's a pretty decent scale. I like that he's small. I do kind of feel like he should be a smidge smaller. It's not something that's going to really bother me by any stretch of the imagination, but there's that. And then for a wonderful vintage comparison, here is the original vintage figure, and he's much smaller. But you can see there is a big design difference. That's why companies like Super 7 are going the route of doing the toy look and then updating them, giving them more articulation and things of that nature. Because as you can see, there is a difference in terms of the overall look. This is not how he looked in the cartoon. This absolutely is. So again, really nice to see that. Now for Splinter himself, a wonderful figure. As a collector of Hot Toys, one thing that I will say is that I did kind of have to take his gi off or kimono. I'm not exactly sure what that is. Well, maybe it's probably a gi. I mean, he's, Master Splinter and everything. But I did have to take it off. I did have to adjust the belt and everything to kind of bring it down. Because originally it was like all the way up there. And it really should be sitting lower. And you can see it kind of wants to keep going up because his butt and belly kind of make it go up. But overall, great looking figure on him. But there was some futzing that was needed. You got the nice logos right up there on his gi. Great detail in the paint and everything. Now, like I said, QC stuff, I did have an issue with it. Not so much the paint or anything like that, like the Android Krang. But what I did have on mine, if I roll this up, you can kind of, you can totally see it. The pin section right here. If I come in, let's see. Yeah, totally. So the way that the joint is, it's a piece like this, and then there's another piece that goes in like that, and then that hinges, and then there's a pin that goes through. The problem though is my pin is not all the way through on this top section, so it makes this very loose, and that bothers me. I mean, there's a nice joint at the lower section that I can kind of use, but I also feel like that's going to just rip out of there. That's really unfortunate on mine. I mean, I'm still able to manage it, but I just don't like the looseness of that. That's the only real problem that I have in terms of QC stuff. That was not that big of a deal, but it's one thing when you deal with paint and everything like that. It's another when you have a figure that's almost kind of damaged like that right out of the package. Kind of spoils things. But I still love the way that this guy looks. I love the little like serious look to his eyes. And again, like the paint is phenomenal on him. Usually a lot of times also clothed figures tend to look a little bit baggy. This I don't think looks all that bad. You can, like I said, futz with it to make it look better. Just kind of tuck that, pull that in, and keep that a little bit tight to the body. So you can make them look good. First articulation, the head is, one thing I will say is that I kind of, like, as you see, you rotate it, and it pulls the bottom. There's two joints there. So you got a lower joint, and then you got an upper one. You can rotate it still perfectly fine, but as I rotate it, I feel like it's pulling on that. So, I mean, the articulation is fine. I just don't like that little pulling gesture. You can get them looking about that high up, so not really that high up. Looking down pretty decently. His mouth is articulated, his lower jaw, so you can just open that up. You got some nice detail on the inside there with some paint and everything. That looks really good. Shoulders do rotate. Again, I want to be careful. I don't like how it is. So you got the in and out, forward and back. They rotate at the upper part. You do have two bends at the elbow. The wrists do rotate, and then they hinge forward and back. He does have a little bit of a belly here. So, again, you do want to be careful because that's going to make things move around and get ugly looking. But you do have a upper ab crunch right there. The legs do move forward and back and in and out, bringing this up. So you do get a full range of motion there. You can obviously bring him in to do a seated meditation pose. One thing that's really nice is the tail is also on a hinge, so you can move that forward and back. You can also rotate it around, but also it is a bendy wire, so that's really cool to see. I like that. You do have two joints here at the knee, but this upper one doesn't really do much of anything. There's such a little gap right there that you can't really pull it back too much. So most of the articulation is going to be in the lower section. It does rotate at that upper bit though, so you do get that rotation as well. The ankles do move forward and back. They are on that hacky sack joint, so you can do that. You can also point the toe. So if you wanted to make them a little bit taller, it would be harder to get them to stand unless you use the tail. So you could totally do that, bend that down. And if you wanted to have him walk around kind of like this, and like I said, make him a little bit taller, I mean, that obviously makes him considerably taller, almost as tall as the turtles themselves. But honestly, for the most part, he walked around on the lower bits like that. So, and as I was moving things around, a lot of little debris here. And that's always the case with these. There's always flakage with paint, which is kind of annoying. But as you can see, like again, I'm not a huge fan of the clothed figures that they do. This one's better than most, but when you move things around and start manipulating them, it really does kind of ruin some of the looks of it. So like I said, just futz with it, get it looking as best as you possibly can, and then leave it alone. That's really all you can do. And then, of course, let's see, where's his little... You got this. Now, unfortunately, this doesn't really hold it all that well. You kind of have to wedge it in between his index finger and his thumb to get it to kind of loosely hold. But, I mean, that is, for a Turtles fan, that right there is an iconic character. absolutely in love with this guy. Just looks super cool. Now, for Baxter, again, he comes with a lot of accessories as well. Most of them are very specific to one particular episode, and I'm trying to remember, the Return of the Fly Part 2 or something like that. I don't remember exactly. Double checking, it was the Son of the Return of the Fly Part 2. So getting this guy out of the way so it doesn't focus inadvertently on him. The first accessory that I want to touch on is this. Now, this is a great accessory. I guess you could use this with either Splinter, April, the Baxter, anything of that nature. This is the Doku Plant that was featured in one of the first episodes in Ninja Turtles, where the fragrance was actually poisonous. Shredder sent it to April, who thought that it was being given to her by the Turtles, if it stays focused, because she thought that they had a crush on her. When she took this to the sewer to kind of confront him and let him down gently, I guess, Master Splinter saw it and immediately grabbed it and threw it into the dumpster and then said, "Did you smell the plant?" She's like, "Yes, like I said, it was very lovely, blah, blah, blah." But it was poisonous and it put her into a coma. So this is a really nice accessory. The one thing is that this was used before he actually mutated. So again, you could use it with any of the characters, but it was definitely a very early accessory. Also, in addition to the fisted hands, he comes with several other ones. He's got a just kind of open holding sort of hand. He's got a right and left trigger finger hand. Well, this one's kind of a open. Well, yeah, I guess you got a right and left that are kind of open, and then you have a right and left trigger one. Now, this is kind of funny. In some of the promo pictures that NECA showed, it had Splinter actually holding this. I don't know why he would be holding a gun, but I feel like this is an accessory for Baxter because it just fits in his hands. The ones for Splinter, none of the hands work very well for him. And honestly, this doesn't even work all that well because when you plug it in, he's constantly pointing down with it. If it'll stay focused on it. That's weird to me, but, whatever. But, there was a couple scenes where he would be holding futuristic style guns, and that's definitely one of them. But then you also do get this. Now, the remaining accessories that he comes with are from that episode like I talked about. Initially in, again, I'm forgetting the name of the episode. I think it was The Return of the Fly. They discovered kind of an ancient catacomb that when Baxter went in there, instantly recognized that it was a spacecraft, specifically a interdimensional one. And that's this guy. Now, I don't remember his name. It was like V or something like that, but it was a self-aware computer that basically became friends with Baxter. But it was this guy. Now, he didn't have this form in that particular episode. He was still that computer program. But he gave Baxter this weapon. This is really nice. I don't remember if it had a name. It was just a mutation ray. But really nice detail on here. And you can see that it had a dial. That when you would move it around, it would mutate whatever human or anything that was blasted into whatever's on the dial. So you got a little fly. I don't know what that is. It's supposed to be an ant. That looks like a rabbit. That kind of looks like I don't even know, a donkey or something. That kind of looks like a turtle. That kind of looks like a cat. But he used this gun twice in that episode. Once to blast Michelangelo, and it turned him into a gerbil. And that's what we have here. I don't think gerbil was on here. No, maybe that's what that is. Maybe it's not a rat. Maybe that's a gerbil. But this is Michelangelo, and this is fantastic. He's definitely not happy, but great paint detail on here. It's not articulated or anything of that nature, but wonderful detail, wonderful display piece, and again, really nice paint applications on this. I like the lines that really kind of highlight different things on them. The nice orange, I mean, again, very angry looking, but he also then used it on Shredder and turned him into this little fly. This is a very small piece. Hopefully you guys can see that fairly decently, but Again, amazing sculpt work on here. Really nice paint detail. See, he's got his little cape on the back. He's got his little flies. You can even kind of see the little shoulder pads on him if it stays focused. Again, you got the helmet. Absolutely terrific little accessory with this. And, you know, you can, like I said, just take one of his hands and have him hold it or something. I mean, that's just super, super fun. Now, in that episode, they got blasted into a different dimension, and the ship actually disintegrated, and all that seemed to be left was this guy. Now, again, great detail on here, wonderful paint application. You see you got this little lenticular thing. So, coming in, you can kind of see as you move it, you got a little evil smirk. That one is a little bit more surprised. You know, there's like 3 faces on there. So, yeah, looking one way, looking straight ahead. Absolutely wonderful detail. Now, the fun little thing about this is that when he was in this form, Baxter put in some kind of an energy chip, and it created a body for him. Now, when NECA released pictures of this as like their final product or something, they actually had this on Casey Jones's body. And that was facilitated by this section underneath here. It's a hole, and there's like a little hexagon thing in there. I'm almost convinced that they're going to release this guy's body at some point in time, which would be fantastic if they did it. I don't know how they could, you know, maybe doing it as one of their Loot Crate exclusives or something like that. But clearly, you can plug that in to something. Otherwise, they wouldn't have that there. So I think that's a great possible tease. That's something that we could get in the future. Either way, I absolutely love that. I think that was done really very, very well. Now, for Baxter, this is where I have an issue with one of the design aspects of it. And it's going to be just a minor gripe. And honestly, people are probably like, you're being way too overly critical. But he's got his little fly arms. But, I mean, they're articulated and everything. But they're pegged into the back here. They really should be coming out from his side. Very rarely did you see him on his actual back. They were always coming out here. So that would be my minor gripe with this guy in terms of his design. That's another thing that I'm not a big fan of QC-wise. You can see it is just on a ball joint, but this does not like staying on at all. It's fairly loose. I mean, I can kind of feel it grab, but it definitely comes apart way, way too easily, and that's very unfortunate. But the design on this guy is phenomenal. I could absolutely see them, you know, just taking this, swapping this out, putting regular legs in there, maybe changing, because this is all rubber, so you could probably just swap this out. It's probably an easy way of doing a human version of him. The head would just pop off. The arms you could probably leave. But this could definitely be redone as the human version of Baxter, which I would love as well. This guy has a tremendous amount of detail. We are getting a video game version of him, which does look good too, but obviously I like the more cartoon aesthetic. But absolutely gorgeous. Great shading with the eyes. I mean, there's a couple different red colors. You got a darker red on the one side, lighter red, and then you got the white on that side. Really very nice. The hair looks fantastic. Real nice shading and everything there. Of course, you do have that cell shading sort of look where the back section is a little bit darker. You can see it white here in the front and then gray in the back, and that's the same kind of thing with the actual... well, no, I mean, like, the body doesn't really do too much of that, honestly. It's all pretty much just done in this. Oh, well, you can kind of see it like right here with the pants. It's a little bit darker here in the back. So that does go across the entire figure. But, oh, God, I love the way that this guy looks. So freaking awesome. Really, really is. Articulation-wise, the head is on a ball joint. You can move that around. I got a little bit of a paint... see, and that just came apart. Now, in the package, his head was all the way down, and you can kind of see like a little yellow bit right there. That's because his head was pushed up against his bow tie, and then when I moved it, that came off with it. So again, paint issues with NECA. The wings here are on these pin hinge joints, so you can hinge those around. If you wanted to, you can lay those down and have kind of a non-flying look for them, which is cool. They also have a nice little hinge, so you can articulate those and position those kind of how you want. The little insect arms, those also rotate, and they have the hinge, but do not do it from here.
make sure you kind of grab here and bend it, just because you can see how loose this, well, not really loose, it's just very flexible, and I wouldn't want you to damage anything. So easiest way of doing it is articulate it by kind of putting the pressure down here when you're doing it. That helps out a lot. The arms themselves are on pin hinge, so you can rotate those all the way around. They hinge out nicely. You got double joints here for the elbow, so you can bend those in really nice. You got the rotation and hinge at the wrist. The waist, you can see, is on a ball joint, but that, yeah, I don't like that at all. Really wish that was done differently. I mean, that could probably, I mean, that's very soft, so it's like I feel like I could heat that up and then squeeze that tighter, but it is what it is. And then the hips move forward and back, but it is a little bit more limited going forward because of the crotch piece right here. It is a softer material, but you don't want to push too hard, obviously, so you do get a pretty decent range. God bless it. As I just keep moving it, it just constantly keeps popping off, so that's frustrating. Goes in and out. He does have two bends at the knee. There we go. Nice full range of motion there. The ankles do move forward and back. They also do have that hacky sack sort of an ankle tilt, so lots of articulation there. Fully articulated for the most part. You're going to pretty much get everything that you're going to want with this guy. Aesthetically, I think he looks amazing. I don't like the design of this, and I feel like this whole section could have been done better. But for a set, I mean, with all the accessories that you get with these guys, this is an incredible piece. I am absolutely loving it. Now, I know I say it over and over again, but NECA consistently proves that they make the best looking Ninja Turtle figures that we have ever gotten. But that's not to say that they aren't plagued with issues. Almost every single figure has something that could have been done better. And that's always something that bugs me. Whether it be like joints here that aren't assembled right, to paint issues, to stuck joints, to disassembled body parts. There's always something that can be said negatively about their figures. But you can't argue with the way that they look. This absolutely looks like Splinter and Baxter jumped right off of the screen. And that's always what brings me back to buying them. Because as I said, they do make the best looking Ninja Turtle figures we've ever gotten. And people such as myself will always buy them despite those issues. And that's really unfortunate, because that doesn't make NECA learn. People can complain all day long, but if people are still buying them, they're not gonna fix certain things as quickly as they really should. And here we are, years into NECA doing things. I mean, I remember with my Predator reviews, those joints would always break. Now, granted, those were just really bad plastic quality. Now, these joints are breaking because the paint is freezing the joints and making people kind of like force them. There are things that you can do to mitigate that, but it's not something that you should do. Or when you look back at my other video of the Android Krang, I shouldn't have to take the visor off of his head to rotate it to get it in the proper configuration. It's too much work. But there's always something that can be improved on these guys. And while NECA stuff consistently is in some of the top toys year after year, I just really feel as if they could be doing something different to give us better products just as a whole. They have the aesthetic, they have the design, it's all there. Just the execution is fairly poor. Now with Baxter and Splinter here again, I cannot complain much about the look. These guys are fantastic looking and are absolute essential characters in a display for Ninja Turtles. So based on that, I would absolutely recommend them. Just know, it is NECA. So, all that being said, if this is a set that you would like to add to your collection, the cartoon TMNT figures are exclusive here in America to Target stores. I'm not sure where they're available at any other countries, but the only place to get them here is Target, so it does make it a little bit more difficult. But they are out now, so if you are looking for them, good luck and happy hunting. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. Remember, if you like this video, I would really appreciate it if you would do one very simple thing for me, and that's just to hit
that thumbs up button. Here on YouTube, we are a slave to that algorithm. And if you want to make it go away, just hit the thumbs up button. That one small gesture really does go a long way towards helping me out, and I would really very much appreciate it. Also, I'm going to send a huge shout out to all of my patrons and channel members, who through their continued support, now more than ever, help to make reviews like this possible. And if you'd like information on how you can help support my channel by becoming a patron like these guys have done, feel free to check out my Patreon page at patreon.com/Optibotimus. Or if you want to keep all of your perks and rewards like live streams, custom emojis, loyalty badges, giveaways, all of that stuff right here on YouTube like these guys do, consider becoming a member of Optibotimus Plus. And for that, all you have to do is click on that little join button right down there. And finally, remember that the real trouble with the world is that too many people grow up. Thank you for watching and taking the time to be a kid.